Hi guys, and welcome to another video. And today I'm going to be talking about the history behind the Goose Girl. And the Goose Girl is a dark story written by the Brothers Grimm. There was a version I used to read when I was younger, and it wasn't the same. It had the darker versions were taken out of the actual original story. I'm going to explain some of the backstory behind the actual story, and then I'm going to read some of it for you so you understand what it's actually about. So please like this video and please hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel, and don't forget to click on the notification bell so you're updated about any future videos. I also wanted to say that I thank you for all the support and all the nice comments that you always leave. I'm gonna try and do like a reading out comments video for like one of my next videos, because there's a lot of comments that from people on my channel. I also wanted to say that please watch all my ads on my videos and don't skip any, as it supports the channel a lot. And as always, thank you for the support, because I appreciate it. I'm trying to push my channel a bit more. I'm sorry if I haven't been doing any videos lately. I haven't done a video yesterday. I just didn't have time to. And lately I've been lacking in ideas for my channel at the moment, but I'm just going to try and do some more like quick little role plays for my channel, so I can boost it up a little bit. But I appreciate everyone watching, because I really do. On the last video I talked about Batman, and there was a lot of nice comments from people. So when I was a child, there was a different version of the Goose Girl, and it wasn't the same, and it didn't have the dark bit parts in it. And then I came across the Brothers Grimm version of the Goose Girl, and it was a different story altogether. And the story in total is about a queen who has a princess, and the princess has a chambermaid, and the chambermaid is really evil and bossy. And apparently, in the story, I think she grasses her up to the king, and she makes out that she's done a wrong thing to her, so that she gets her royalty stripping away from her, and she becomes the Goose Girl, which is a maid. She becomes a maid herself, and she then the maid pretends to be her all the time as well in the story, to make out that she's royalty. And apparently the king finds out about all of this in the end of the story, that she's stolen her royalty, and she's tried to be her and impersonate her. And in the story, what was dark about it was Falada, who is the horse. However you pronounce the name, I can't pronounce. The horse ended up getting she ended up cutting off the head of the horse, and that was her favourite horse in the whole world. And she cut off the horse's head, and she put it up on a mantelpiece on the wall. And the horse talked to her and told her who actually cut off the horse's head. It spoke to her, and it was in a lot of pain. But it was just the fact that, how dark it was, the story itself. And I never knew about the dark one either. I just knew about the original, which was a lot different than the darker one, to be honest. So yeah, that's a bit of the backstory behind it, on how I know about the story, because obviously I haven't read the story in months now, or years, and I remember it when I I was a child, coming across it. Just thought I'd talk about it. And I will read some of it for you. I won't read all of it because I don't want this video being really long. I know it's cool to have it long, it's alright. But yeah. And if you like, obviously, if you like backstories behind these stories, I might do Hansel and Gretel as the next one. I don't know. It's up to me, but I do want to sort of do these because I used to read a lot of fairy tales when I was younger. A lot of them was dark, a lot of them I'm just finding out about. I know there was darker versions of Hansel and Gretel anyway, like several versions. So this is the Goose Girl, and I do have this in my Kindle. In my Kindle, I have the Dark Fairy Tales by the Grimm brothers, but I couldn't find the actual Goose Girl in the actual contents of the book on my Kindle. But I will try and find it when I stop the video. But I just thought, for time being, I'll just find it. So it's by Jacob and Wilhelm Grimm, who are the two brothers that wrote the Dark Fairy Tales. It says, there once lived an old queen whose husband had been dead for many years, and she had a beautiful daughter. When the princess grew up, she was promised in marriage to a prince who lived far away. When the time came for her to be married, then she had to depart for the distant kingdom. The old queen packed up for her many costly vessels and utensils of silver and gold, and trinkets also of gold and silver, and cups and jewels. In short, everything that belonged to the royal dowry, for she loved her child from her heart. She likewise assigned her a chambermaid, who was to ride with her and deliver her into the hands of the bridegroom. Each received a horse for the journey. The princess's horse was called Falada, and could speak when the hour of departure had come. The old mother went into her bedroom, took a small knife, and cut her fingers with it until they bled. Then 3 drops of blood fell onto it. She gave them to her daughter, saying, take good care of these, there will be service to you on your way. Thus they sorrowful took leave of one another. The princess got the cloth into her bosom, mounted her horse, and set forth for her bridegroom. After they had ridden for a while, she felt a burning thirst, and said to her chambermaid, dismount, take my cup, which you have brought with you for me, then get me some water from the brook, for I would like a drink. If you are thirsty, said the chambermaid, get off your horse yourself, and lie down into the water and drink. I won't be your servant. So in her great thirst, the princess dismounted, bent down over the water in the brook, and drank. And she was not allowed to drink out of the golden cup. Then she said, O Lord, and the 3 drops of blood answered, if your mother knew this, her heart would break in two. But the king's daughter was humble. She said nothing and mounted her horse again. They rode some miles further. The day was warm, the sun beat down, and she again grew thirsty. When they came to a stream of water, she again called to her chambermaid, dismount and give me some water in my golden cup, for she had long ago forgotten the girl's evil words. But the chambermaid said still more haughtily, if you want a drink, get it yourself, I won't be your servant. Then in her great thirst, the king's daughter dismounted, bent over the flowing water, wept, and said, O Lord, and the drops of blood again replied, if your mother knew this, her heart would break in two. As she was thus drinking, leaning over the stream, the cloth with the 3 drops of blood fell from her bosom and floated away with the water, without her taking notice of it. So great were her concerns, however, the chambermaid what happened, and she rejoiced to think that she now had power over the bride, for by losing the drops of blood, the princess had become weak and powerless. When she wanted to mount her horse again, the one that she called Falada, the chambermaid said, I belong on Falada, you belong on my neck, and the princess had to accept it. Then with many harsh words the chambermaid ordered the princess to take off her royal clothing and put on the chambermaid's shabby clothes, and in the end the princess had to swear under the open heaven but she would not say one word of this to anyone at the royal court. If she had not taken this oath, she would have been killed on the spot. Falada saw everything and remembered it well. The chambermaid now climbed onto the Falada, and the true bride onto the bad horse, and thus they travelled onwards until finally they arrived at the royal palace. There was great rejoicing over their arrival, and the prince ran ahead to meet them, then lifted the chambermaid from her horse, thinking she was his bride. She was led upstairs, while the real princess was left standing below. Then the old king looked out the window and saw her waiting in the courtyard, and noticed how fine and delicate and beautiful she was. So at once he went to the royal apartment and asked the bride about the girl she had with her who was standing down below in the courtyard, and who she was. I picked her up on my way for a companion. Give the girl some work to do, so she won't stand idly by. However, the old king had no work for her, and knew with nothing else to say, but I have a little boy who tends the geese. She can help him. The boy was called Curdcurchin, little Conrad, and the true bride had to help him tend geese. Soon afterwards, the false bride said to the young king, "Dearest husband, I beg you to do me a favour." He answered, "I will do so gladly." Then send for the knacker and have the head of the horse which I rode here cut off, for it angered me on the way. In truth, she was afraid that the horse might tell how she had behaved towards the king's order. Thus it happened that faithfully Falada had to die. The real princess heard about this, and she secretly promised to pay the knacker a piece of gold if he would perform a small service for her. In the town there was a large dark gateway, which she had to pass with the geese each morning and evening. Would he be so good as to nail Falada's head beneath the gateway, so that she might see him again and again? The knacker's helper promised to do that, and cut off the head and nailed it securely beneath the dark gateway. Early in the morning, when she and Conrad drove out their flock beneath this gateway, she said in passing, "Alas, Falada, hanging there." Then the head answered, "Alas, young queen, passing by, if this your mother knew, her heart would break in two." Then they went still further out of the town, driving their geese into the country. When they came to the meadow, she sat down and bound her hair, which was of pure gold. Conrad saw it, was delighted how it glistened, and wanted to pluck out a few hairs. Then she said, "Blow, wind, blow, take Conrad's hat, and make him chase it until I have braided my hair and I tied it up again." Then such strong winds came up that it blew Conrad's hat across the fields, and he had to run after it. When he came back, she was already finished combing and potting up her hair, so she would not get even one strand. So Conrad became angry and would not speak to her, and thus they tended the geese until the evening, and then they went home. The next morning, when they were driving the geese out through the dark gateway, the maiden said, "Alas, Falada, hanging there." Falada answered, "Alas, young queen, passing by, if this your mother knew, her heart would break in two." She sat down again in the field and began combing out her hair. When Conrad ran up and tried to take hold of some, she quickly said, "Blow, wind, blow, take Conrad's hat and make him chase it until I have braided my hair and tied it up again." And the wind blew, taking the hat off his head, and far away. Conrad had to run after it, and then when he came back, she had already put up her hair, and he could not get a single strand. Then they tended the geese until evening. I'm only going to leave it at that because it's a bit too long of words, guys. So that's pretty much the story. Throughout the story, the goose girl gets treated really badly because she's the other queen who was impersonating her. Obviously make sure that she gets treated really badly, and she ends up being the goose girl because she looks after the geese, as you've seen in the story. I always found the dark story really dark as well, and it was shocking too because the fact that the horse's head gets cut off as well. on a wall, on the gateway, sorry. But I hope you enjoyed this video nonetheless. I've had to record this several times actually because my phone is not being good today. Technology is not good for me. I'm having to use my Nokia phone today, and all the time now because if I record on my old phone, the sound will go out of sync and it will look like I'm miming and I'm not actually speaking. Because when I upload it to YouTube, they convert it in the wrong way and then the sound goes out of sync. I've explained this in my last video as well, but I just thought in case anyone didn't know why. And I know the sound's going to be really horrible when I actually play it back or when people watch it, but it's all I can do for now, for sound wise. So I hope you have a wonderful day today, guys, and I will see you all guys